Beyond the headlines, the noise, the spin, we seek the stories that live within. Past party lines, past powers disguised, we hear the truth in everyday lives. A space for voices, both gentle and strong. Beyond politics, where we all belong.
Hi everyone, my name is Jim Chen and welcome to Beyond Politics on Oz Arab Media. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Councillor Hady Saleh, representing the Roselands or Bunmarra Ward of the city of Canterbury-Bankstown. Our community will be familiar with the Roselands Ward. It's an area covering Belmore, Beverly Hills, Kingsgrove, Lakemba, Narwee, Punchbowl, Riverwood, Roselands and Wally Park. Welcome, Hady.
Thank you very much for having me.
And congratulations on your elevation as a councillor.
Appreciate it.
Before we look at any other role or title, we always like to look at who you are as a person first. What's something that people often tend to misunderstand about you up front?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much to yourself, to Oz Arab Media for having me today. It's an honour and a privilege to be here to share my little insight onto being on Canterbury Council and, just informing the community on what's going to be upcoming in the near future. It's very interesting because I would never think in 100 years that I was going to be in this position today. So I think, when I was much younger, I've always had the passion for a lot of other things, especially anything but politics. So, so a lot of my friends and family, even though my father, Clr was part of the Canterbury-Bankstown Council, I did enjoy sometimes observing and seeing it, but I never thought I'd be part of it. So obviously a lot of people seeing me now, seeing me in it, they've been very happy for me first and foremost, but also, just quite shocked to see that I'm, following in my father's footsteps and doing what I'm currently doing, being part of council.
I guess it's a pleasant shock if it's
course.
a shock.
No, very good, yes.
Okay, then before becoming a councillor, who were you in a nutshell?
I was just, Australian Lebanese boy that grew up in Punchbowl my whole life, Parents, lived in housing for a lot of my young years and, just going to a local school, Granaka, Malik Fahad, and then going on to, just studying around social work, just being around the youth community engagement, being a passion that I've had probably, towards the end of my high school years. And it's something that I wanted to be a part of, especially, again, because of my father being in that community sector, my mother being in the community sector, being part of Riverwood Community Centre. So it was something that, I wanted to be part of the community, but also I didn't see it as a full-time gig. But as I finished high school, finished Year 12, I slowly got my foot in the door and, just started to be with the community, attend events, Clean Up Australia Day, volunteering events, going to events with my father. I remember back when it was just Canterbury Council on its own, we'd go to plant a tree days on certain weekends, and just being around the community was something that I enjoyed being around, meeting new people, and then here I am today.
With your family's personal journey, you mentioned your family migrated to Australia 40 years ago, practically with no money, no English, and very humble beginnings, initially residing in public housing. What was that growing up as a young child for you?
It was tough. I remember it very clearly. Growing up in the Housing Commission in Riverwood, I think at that point it was one of, if not the most dangerous areas in Australia, in Sydney. And just growing up also in Riverwood Community Centre with my brothers, going to the preschool there, going to the daycare there, seeing police daily in our street, seeing dangerous things that I probably shouldn't have seen when I was young. But just to see and remember these little things that I still remember till today about how we did grow up as a family and now where we are today. We've come a long way, alhamdulillah. And it's all credit to what my father and mother have given to our family, our my brothers and sisters, because it's it's an amazing country that we live in, Australia. They've given us a lot. They've done a lot for my family. They've done a lot for everyone in this country. And it's definitely something that we don't take for granted, and we appreciate what this country has given us till today.
So from that humble beginnings, your parents rose to become community representatives. I guess at that time you would have been already, say, a teenager.
Yes.
Did you notice a significant change in how people started to approach you and your family? All of a sudden, people rushed and wanting to talk and to speak?
Of course. I think it's very important that at the time, you know, my dad being in council, if I'm not wrong, probably back in 2004, when he first started in Canterbury Council in Campsie, and my mother starting roughly the same time, if not a bit earlier, in Riverwood Community Centre. And like people till today remember me when I used to come and, you know, hang out with the youth children at my mum's centre in Riverwood Community Centre, and, you know, my father being that council representative. You know, if I'm not wrong, he was probably the first Lebanese councillor, part of Canterbury-Bankstown, if not, you know, just coming from Housing Commission, coming from that humble beginning and getting to where he is. And then, you know, as I was a teenager, growing up, I seen the impact, I seen the respect, I seen the admiration of the community around us that appreciated what my mum and dad done, and it's something that I looked up to, and it's definitely something that I said to myself that, you know, I hope one day, as I did grow older, I'm going to follow in their footsteps and do the same thing.
Although initially you mentioned you weren't interested in politics,
yes.
what made you change?
100%. No, I definitely wasn't. But no, I think as I did grow older, you know, past as I probably just graduated from year 12 and you know, 18, 19 years old, I started to see the impact my parents had. And it was something that I started to attend more often, go with my dad to meetings, go to events, go to my mother's work and see what was happening, see the impact she was having on our community, see the impact that my father was having on the community. And it's something that I recognised and I appreciated. And I always said to myself, you know, maybe not the politics side, but more the community side. It was more something that I seen and said, you know, I really respect this, and it's really something that I want to be part of for a long time. So now I have both the community side and the politics side. So I'm very happy.
And the busy political side. Okay. Speaking about the community, you enjoy strong support, of course, from the Riverwood Community Centre and from different school communities.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
First and foremost, I'm very humbled by the appreciating comments that I've been receiving, the support from our community members, from the community centre, from, you know, organisations, from leaders. I like to believe that, you know, I had a head start in the political game by having my father for 20 years and my mother being who she was at Riverwood Community Centre, you know, having that experience of meeting organisations, meeting leaders, meeting the ministers that I currently know, and, you know, being around that circle and seeing that, you know, this is something that I can definitely grab with two hands and do well in. And I'm sure that the community's seeing the same thing. And that's why I was very thankful. And I'm very grateful for the support I received when I did get this position given to me through the, you know, through the election, through the commission, giving me this opportunity. And it's something that, you know, I've been in now for roughly 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm looking forward to what the future holds.
One thing that touched me particularly was when I once stumbled upon a commemorative booklet of the Riverwood Community Centre, when it really described the history of the local area and how the area was, you know, it was full of blood-stained syringes, youth crime and all the social issues you talked about. And I just, it was just a stumbling upon that bit of history by chance, but that image has stuck in my mind because it demonstrates how much work your parents and other volunteers have put into to improve the area.
Of course, it is, you know. I still remember Punchwell Park, McLaughlin Oval in Riverwood. I remember a lot of parks and, you know, the scenes, you know, the police, the gangs, the crimes, the just troublemakers, and you know, this is early 2000s, and then thankfully, you know, it's been cleaned out. It's become a very good area to live in for kids, for families. A lot of people coming to live in the area now, like we call it, and you know, it's something to be proud of.
Tell us about the young people and all the good work supporting our school communities you've been leading.
Yeah, being around our kids and our, you know, teenagers that I do daily is something important to me. It's very close to my heart, being part of, you know, the student wellbeing and welfare of our schools in Sydney, and in particular in Canterbury-Bankstown, where I work at. Kids they're our future generations. And if we're not going to look after them, then who's going to look after them? It's something that I hold to my heart very dearly, because, you know, I love my job. I love my job. I wake up looking forward to it every single day, because, you know, it's very special to me. And seeing the change that I do, and the change that I bring to these kids, and to the change that they bring to my life, is something very positive and something that I'm forever grateful for. And it's very important that, you know, these kids just need someone to be with them, to support them, to be kind to them. And we can never underestimate it, that these kids, you know, these students at our schools, they see their teachers more than their own parents. You know, they're with us from 8 till 5. They go home, they sit in their room, they see their parents for half an hour, and they go to sleep. So it's something that, you know, if you're in that sector, if you're in the education sector, if you're in the community youth sector, take care of the kids, take care of our future generations, because they are our hope, and they are people that we need to, you know, support, look after, and, you know, we'll have a bright future if our kids, if our future generation, if our current generation is in good hands.
I can see this is something that gives you meaning every day. Okay, now focusing on yourself and your role in local government. In February, you have been officially declared as the new councillor representing the Roselands Ward following a countback election process. First of all, tell me, what was it like actually running in the 2024 local government election?
Amazing experience running in the election for the first time in 2024. You know, seeing the different politicians, seeing the different parties. Very busy. So, you know, the week before the elections at the pre-poll, that was very exciting, seeing the community get involved, you know, seeing people that I haven't seen in so long coming up to me and saying, oh my God, you know, Hady, you're part of the elections. What's going on? You're not, you know. So I told them, you know, it's just an experience that I want to be part of. I want, you know, my dad's obviously leading the way with number 1, and I was number 3 at that time. So it was a very, you know, fun experience. Something that I remember clearly, you know, something that happened 2 years ago. And just to be, you know, part of the process and understand how elections work and how, you know, the hard work that goes into it. You know, I think, you know, people just rock up on election day, tick the box and go home. But little did they know that this person that's put their name on the ballot paper has worked very, 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 very hard over the last, you know, 12 to 18 months. Events, handing out papers, knocking on doors, and just, you know, asking the community to support them. So I was very grateful to be part of that experience.
Our community representatives do work tirelessly. Okay, at the swearing-in ceremony, you chose to swear your oath on a copy of the Quran used by your father, former Deputy Mayor Clr Saleh, OIM, more than 20 years ago. What did that mean for you, that moment?
You know, it was a special moment for myself, for my parents, for my brothers and sisters, you know, just to see it. I wanted that special moment for me, first and foremost, a special moment for myself, but also a special moment for my father. And I remember asking him, you know, where is the Quran that he done the oath with? And he happened to have it, you know, and just, it was something that it was a proud moment for myself, for my community that I represent. And, you know, it's something that I will cherish and remember for a very long time.
And sometimes you can't see because you are standing up perhaps sometimes at the front. But whenever I see yourself and your father in the community, he always looks at you proudly.
Alhamdulillah. I think, you know, he's helped me a lot. You know, my dad has helped me a lot, and so has my mum. And, you know, it's just I'm very grateful for the position that I am currently now in council. And like I said, definitely I do believe that having them around me gave me a head start, and I just need to keep pushing forward.
How are things going for you a few months into the job?
Very exciting, and very exciting for the future, but also it's been very good over the last 3 months. Very busy, trying to juggle a few different responsibilities and roles, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Being in the community over the last 3 months, we've had a few events that I attended weekly. We have probably 2 or 3 council events that I tried my best to attend weekly. Being in the community, having the support of those around me is it's very humbling to see that these people, I've only been in council for 2-3 months,
Yes.
and they're really supporting me. They're really showing their, support and gratitude towards me, and I really appreciate this community that we have, and I honestly believe that we have the best community in Australia.
Why don't we now look at some challenges and opportunities? In February, in an official Facebook post celebrating your election to council, it had unexpectedly attracted more than 800 comments. And for context, it was just a picture of yourself standing with community members coming from all walks of life and all cultural backgrounds. I will share some of the commentary without sharing many very, very bad ones. But some comments read, "Spot the Aussie. Is this Australia? Vote One Nation." And another one said, "They are taking over. They are taking over." Do you consider this to be Islamophobia, and how should we deal with it?
Of course, unfortunately, that's just, we do have people like that in our community in this country, but that doesn't explain what Australia is. These people, you'll find them in every country, whether they're being Islamophobic, whether they're being racist, whether anti-Semite. These are things that we as a nation try and stamp out. These people exist, unfortunately, and it's just they can talk as much as they want. Unfortunately, they can't get far in life. Their leaders, and it's just the more attention we give them, unfortunately, the more they grow. So we just have to try our best, to fight off that hatred. Australia is based on multiculturalism. It's an amazing country because you have all walks of life, immigration, migrants coming from all over the world to assimilate and to become one, to become Australians. We respect this country, we love this country, and on top of that, we all come from different backgrounds. And that's the beauty of being Australian, that we respect each other, that we love each other, and we can, come together as one nation. But these people, I don't pay attention to them, to be honest. Like someone was telling me the other day, for 100 good comments, you're going to get one bad comment. But unfortunately, that one bad comment, you're going to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So, we see these comments, they're definitely, racist comments that we try our best not to pay attention to, and we just keep moving forward and doing our job.
Well said. Australia is based on multiculturalism and thrives on multiculturalism.
Of course.
Now, okay. At the council meeting last month, you led a motion calling for the raising of the Lebanese flag outside of council chambers from 8th of May for 10 days. It was carried, but if you would recall, the main amendment or the argument used against it was that foreign affairs is not a responsibility of local government. Raising one country's flag may offend some residents, and that, after all, there are so many conflicts happening around the world. Why should we pick and choose which flag to raise? What do you say to that?
I think it's just a matter of, having a heart for those that are suffering, having a heart and having empathy for those that are going through a tough time, whether those are Australian Lebanese in Lebanon or those that are in Australia feeling for their family members in Lebanon. Like, as we know, in Canterbury-Bankstown Council alone, We have over 55,000 residents of Lebanese background. This makes us the biggest council in Australia to house those Lebanese residents. And if me as a council representative aren't standing with my people at that time, along with our council, so standing with them and just showing a bit of solidarity and a bit of support by raising that flag, then what are we going to bring to the people of Lebanon? What are we going to bring to the 55,000 residents in our council? And like I said, after the council meeting, any country, any person in that council chamber, if they were to go through the suffering that Lebanon is currently going through now, with over 8,000 killed in the matter of few weeks, if they had the same war in their country, I'll be the first one to write the motion to support their country. We are a nation that like we said before, we're built on multiculturalism. We're built on love and respect for one another. Flying a flag outside the council chambers for 10 days, let's be honest, is not going to really change the situation in Lebanon. But if that brings a smile to the face of a Lebanese mother or father, in our council, then I'm happy. We've done our job.
What does it actually mean then for the local Australian Lebanese community and the wider Canterbury-Bankstown community?
I think it's been amazing, from last week to this week, getting calls and messages and people bumping into me in the street, just telling me thank you very much, showing gratitude for this simple motion, something that I thought I'd do it and I'll put it through. If it goes through, it goes through. And, I'm very glad it did. We got support from our mayor, we got support from our councillors, and, it showed, our community were happy. They were very happy and grateful to say, thank you for looking after us. Thank you for remembering us. That my mother in Lebanon, my father in Lebanon, seen this motion, were aware of this motion taking place, They're aware that the flag is going to go up for 10 days. That flag is going to go up for 10 days and come back down.
Yes.
Long after that flag has gone down, the war in Lebanon is probably still going to be going on. The 1.5 million displaced are probably still going to be on the street, but that flag has come down. We know, alhamdulillah, we live in Australia. We've moved on with our lives. They still haven't. So if a flag is going to make them happy, then I'm very happy.
I might add, this, of course, proudly follows the footsteps of your father, former Deputy Mayor Clr Saleh, OAM, when he led a motion calling for the raising of the Palestinian flag outside of council chambers in October 2023.
Yes, definitely. My father, he stood up for the Palestinians in Australia and in Gaza at that time in October 23, and proudly put the motion forward for the Palestinian flag. And, May 2026, I have proudly put the motion forward to council, and we are going to raise the Lebanon flag, inshallah.
Looking ahead, what are your priorities for the rest of the year?
I think just, finding my feet and just taking it all in one by one, learning from those around me, getting knowledge. Yes, my father was in council for 20 years, but that's going to take another 20 years for myself to learn and to pick up on. So just, being close to my council colleagues, understanding the rules, understanding the law, understanding how to help my community. I find that I first and foremost, I don't take it for granted, the position that I'm in. It's an honor to represent my community, and it's an honor to represent those that I serve. I think it's going to take me time, and that's okay. That's okay. I want people to know that I'm here to support my community. I'm here to learn. I'm here to adapt to changes, and we're here to support one another to make Canterbury-Bankstown Council the best council in Australia.
One quality that really distinguishes you apart from others is that you do have that confidence when you project yourself, but you also have that strong humility in you as well.
Of course, it's something that we have to be. We have to, ground ourselves to the ground and understand that we all make mistakes. We're all human, we all make mistakes, but it's also important to ask questions, to learn off others. There's no shame in asking others for help. There's no shame in asking others questions, I ask every day. I'll call councillor, Bilal, hi, Rachel, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? And happily, you know, council staff, amazing staff we have in the council, you know, just asking them for help, asking them for guidance to see how we can make this council a better place, how I can help our community. You know, there's a lot of technicalities that I'm still trying to get around and still trying to understand. But with time and, of course, you know, with the right people around me, which I definitely have the right people around me, whether it's my father, whether it's, you know, Minister Tony Burke, Minister Jihadib, the Mayor Bilal Hayek, you know, our CEO Matt Stewart. It's very good people, people that I trust, people that I respect, and people that I know want to see me do good. So it's something that, you know, we work together to get things done.
Last but not least, in one word, what motivates you every day?
One word. I can't put it in one word, but I think, you know, just legacy. Legacy motivates me. You know, what am I going to leave for when after I've left? You know, what are people going to see? What are people going to remember? What are my kids, God willing, in the future going to see and remember from me? You know, and just having that legacy, that powerful and positive impact that I left in my community. People to remember that, you know, this guy, you know, he helped us. This guy was a good man, and that's what I want to be remembered for.
Councillor Hady Saleh, bravo Alec,
Thank you.
and I wish you a successful political career ahead.
Inshallah.
Now, once again, my name is Jin Chen. Stay tuned to the next episode of Beyond Politics, and of course, stay tuned to Oz Arab Media.